Welcome back. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. You're joining us on NewsX. You're watching Deep Dive. We are speaking on a landmark defense development deal for India today. The approval of the acquisition of 114 Rafale fighter jets and what this means for India's air power, defense industrial strategy and geopolitical readiness. The Defense Acquisition Council, which is India's highest defense procurement body, is chaired by Defense Minister Rajnath Singh, has granted acceptance of necessity for the acquisition of 114 additional Rafale fighter jets from France. This step moves the proposal into the next phase of technical and commercial negotiations and is viewed as the precursor to Cabinet Committee on Security approval, which will finalize the deal. Estimated at around 3.25 lakh crores, this is being touted as one of India's largest defense purchases ever. The clearance also includes procurement of 6 P-81 maritime surveillance aircrafts alongside the Rafale jets. Under the proposed government-to-government deal with France, India will acquire 114 additional Rafale fighter jets, significantly, of course, expanding its existing fleet. Of these, 18 aircrafts are going to be delivered in flyaway condition from France, allowing for quicker induction into the Indian Air Force. The remaining 96 aircrafts will be manufactured in India, marking one of the most substantial boosts to domestic aerospace production in recent years. This acquisition will be taking India's total Rafale fleet to 176 aircrafts, including the 36 Rafales already in service with the Indian Air Force, 26 Rafale M naval variants ordered for the Indian Navy, and the 114 aircrafts now cleared by the Defense Acquisition Council. This scale effectively positions Rafale as a central pillar of India's future air combat capability. In terms of configuration, the Indian Air Force has proposed a mix of 88 single-seater fighters and 26 twin-seater variants out of the 114 aircrafts. The single-seater jets are primarily optimized for frontline combat roles such as air superiority and precision strike missions, while the twin-seater variants serve both operational and training purposes. This balanced composition ensures long-term operational flexibility while also strengthening pilot training and mission specialization capabilities. A defining feature of the deal is the strong emphasis on domestic manufacturing under the Make in India framework. Sources indicate that nearly 80% of the aircrafts are planned to be built domestically, with indigenous content expected to rise gradually from around 30% to as much as 60% over time. This deal marks a significant shift from earlier defense imports by placing strong emphasis on domestic manufacturing and higher indigenous content, strengthening India's aerospace ecosystem while reducing long-term external dependence. India has also pushed for the integration of indigenous weapons and systems onto the Rafale platform. However, while customization will be possible, the core source code will remain with Dassault Aviation, meaning ultimate software control stays with the manufacturer, a common but strategically important limitation in advanced fighter contracts. The urgency of this acquisition becomes clear when viewed against the Indian Air Force's declining squadron strength, currently well below the sanctioned 42 squadrons, with older aircrafts being phased out and deliveries of 180 Tejas jets progressing slower than expected. The Indian Air Force faces immediate capability gaps. Expanding the Rafale fleet, a combat-proven platform already operational, offers a rapid and reliable solution. The Rafale itself is a 4.5 generation multi-role fighter available in 3 variants: the single-seat Rafale C, the twin-seat Rafale B, and the carrier-capable Rafale M for naval operations. India operates the C and B variants and has ordered the M version for its aircraft carriers, equipped with the Spectra electronic warfare suite, AESA radar, and advanced weaponry such as Meteor beyond visual range, air-to-air missiles, scalp cruise missiles, and hammer precision guided munitions. The Rafale provides air superiority, deep strike, and electronic warfare capability in a single platform. In essence, this is not just the addition of 114 aircrafts, it expands India's Rafale fleet to 176 jets, strengthens domestic production, integrates Indian systems, and directly addresses pressing operational shortfalls, making it both a capability upgrade and a strategic industrial move, shaping the future of India's air power. Now, in 2025, during Operation Sindoor, India's military response to cross-border provocations, Indian Air Force Vice Chief Air Marshal Nagesh Kapoor had publicly described the Rafale as the hero of Operation Sindoor, highlighting its performance and contribution to mission success under combat conditions. Let's listen in.
Rafale definitely was a hero amongst other heroes during Operation Sindoor.
Rafale's advanced sensor suite, its Spectra electronic warfare system, and compatibility with long-range munitions have made it a cornerstone of India's air combat capabilities. India's journey to the 114 Rafale jets began with the earlier MMRCA competition, which originally sought 114 aircrafts to modernize the Indian Air Force. Although Rafale was selected, negotiations stalled over pricing and technology transfer. The process shifted in 2016 when India signed a government-to-government deal with France for 36 Rafales, now fully inducted and forming a key part of the Indian Air Force's frontline capability. This was followed by the order for 26 Rafale M jets for the Navy. The current 114 aircraft proposal is therefore a continuation of that modernization roadmap, and the DAC's clearance marks a major step in strengthening India's air combat power. This acquisition is not merely about numbers, it is also about closing squadron gaps, enhancing deterrence and ensuring technological superiority amidst evolving security challenges. At the same time, it aligns with the Make in India vision by expanding domestic manufacturing and deepening India-France strategic cooperation. While the deal naturally raises debates about costs and long-term dependence on foreign platforms, it also represents a decisive move to reinforce operational readiness. In essence, the clearance of the 114 Rafale signals India's intent to build a modern, flexible and combat-ready air force capable of securing its airspace in the decades ahead. Joining us live, Air Commodore Rana Sanjeev Mediratha, former Indian Air Force officer. Air Commodore Mediratha, how crucial is this induction of the new fleet for our Indian Air Force, and also how important is this going to be for the Atmanirbhar mission, with many of them now all set to be made in India?
Hello, good evening to you. Like you said, this was a very crucial stage for us when our Mark 1 and Mark 2 were getting delayed. So we had to fill up the gap to maintain our strategic superiority as well as the changing security circumstances. So this was the need of the hour, and this was in the coming. And this is a proven company, and we have got a lot of experience on these platforms. And these are multi-dimensional platforms. So this will help us, not just the numbers. Of course, we have the aircraft today we have are much, much better and advanced and of a next generation. So you don't really compare the numbers 29 and 42, but yes, we needed these aircraft and urgently to fill up the gap. For the next 10 years, we would be requiring these platforms so that by the time our indigenous aircraft start coming up and join the squadrons, we will require them. And it is a big boost for our domestic defense production, which was another aim of ours with this particular deal with France. And as you know, the President of France is likely to come very soon. So this will get enhanced and this will get activated very fast. Right now we are at the AON stage, which is acceptance of necessity basically. We would need all the negotiations and then the approvals from the CCS. All those aspects are still to be there, but the intention is very clear that we are buying these aircraft.
Absolutely. Air Commodore Mediratha, how big an asset have the Rafales really been for the Indian Air Force? In Operation Sindhu recently, but also overall, how have they evolved as an aircraft for our fleet and for our force?
Yeah, it has filled up all the technological gap and all the technological advances which we required. And we will need to be contemporary all the time in this world. And this helps us in remaining contemporary because this is the state-of-the-art aircraft.
Yes, indeed. And also the timelines are very, very important. Some of these are going to be, ready to fly aircrafts in a very short span of time. Others will, of course, be made in India. Again, that's a big boost to our domestic manufacturing setup as well, isn't it?
Yeah, as you notice, we are getting the aircraft flown in which are ready for dispatch.
Yes.
But also we need to improve and enhance our domestic production. So we would be making almost 80% of the aircraft in India. When I say making, it doesn't mean that we are going to make the whole thing. We will slowly enhance our domestic appliances into that and domestic equipment which we are going to put. So this is a little enhanced version of the aircraft which we already have. Here we would be able to use our own weapons slowly and integrated into this aircraft when we manufacture them in India. And let's say from 30% to almost 60% of indigenous parts would be used finally on this aircraft.
All right. Appreciate you joining us, Air Commodore Mediratha, with your perspective on this big story.